I get how this thing all got started. Um, in my soil, in a field right there, you would have corn right here that would make 35 bushel, and you walk over here maybe 50 feet that would make 125. Well, what going on? So one day we got a backhoe, and we did went out. I took the butt hole and I did mowed down, and we did took the backhoe and we did dug for maybe 100 feet crop weight. And the good corn, it didn't have that white silk rare or Fragipan, so that's why that corn was good. And then here this, you could just stand back 50 foot and you took the white paintbrush and it was just very plain. So I had people, well, my plumber and some people from University of Illinois, and they said, well, there's nothing you can do about that. So but I knew in '83 that we had a fence row. In '83 was real dry, and we dug down 4 or 5 foot and we buried some brook pile. And we had moisture 1.5 foot below the ground. And why can't we get to it? So, and everything been at the dead. Nobody knew anything that going to happen, but I did got me a third grant, and I started studying cover crop and no-till, cover crop and no-till. And then the Rye Grass Association came through, I don't know what year, and they wanted to put ryegrass and then try it and see what would happen. So we did, and you can see a plant growing on top, and I don't know, me and another guy from Oregon were talking, and I said, well, you know, you go to the doctor and they don't know what's wrong with you, they got the x-ray you. So I said, well, take the shovel and go to the field. And we went to the field, and I always was told if a plant was a foot tall, your root can only be a foot deep. Well, that year we found 4-inch ryegrass with root down 72 inches, and it was in when we really went to digging was April the 8th, and so for a number of years on April the 8th, right in there, we would go digging on our cover crop, and so that we didn't know what was going on, but we knew. It did right there, picture right here. We knew we had.
Which one do you want?
Well, that one here.
This one.
We had a field day, and we could see we starting to get root down. I think we got them down about 3 or 4 foot in that Fragipan soil, and I think we got them down 5 feet now.
So is this 2 different situations here?
Well, I don't know. See, my plumber passed away, and John Pike got his computer, and we went down to his computer, and we just started picking some of these pictures out, and
so this is 3.5 to 4 feet here, and this is about 2 feet.
Yeah. I got some different, I mean, we got different stalls. Well, we had 4 inches of ryegrass and 72 inches deep. That's not a Fragipan. That kind of right a creek bottom soil. But at the same time, we probably had them 2 to 3 feet deep in the Fragipan. And
did you want to say anything about that?
well, I just showing some of our rooting. In our Fragipan, that when we started seeing that, then there was something else my plumber always pointed out, our soil, it I don't know really what you call it, but your topsoil just starts filling down, and that way you start building topsoil, it'll just start coming down, and
The A layer, the top layer got deeper.
yeah, top layer get deeper, and then we also seen that Fragipan, it just silted from out. It just, I don't know, it down there 3 feet now, or.
Yeah, his Fragipan looked like to me when I went up there that within the Fragipan itself, there's there's parts that are harder than others, and you'll get pathways dissolved by those roots. And in his, it almost looked like to me that he had little checks, little areas about that wide, just little squares, and it would dissolve on both sides of that, and so he had a pathway of those squares, and the roots had these channels that they just kept on going down, and it looked like that went that way. Yeah.
Are you saying that the ryegrass, annual ryegrass, would penetrate into the Fragipan, whereas other roots don't, or is it just on the top doing its thing there?
What's your answer to that?
Well, I think the ryegrass will penetrate through it, and that's how we're getting through it.
In his case, I think so. And some, I think that basically, in my opinion, what I have seen tells me that the annual ryegrass root seeks out the weakest places, and it grows in those, and then the actions that take place while it's growing there that year increases the width and the depth of that weak place, and so you just kind of chip away at it, so to speak.
Also, the roots of the annual ryegrass are finer than almost any other cover crop and more prolific than even the cereal rye.
And some people think that it has enough pressure to push through some mechanical disturbance.
Well, it'll stop a taproot of a tree, so that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Another thing that was pretty interesting, in 2012, in summer, we could pull out we pulled 3 feet of moisture out, and we still had root down 5.5 feet moisture. But the top 3 feet was bone dry. Yeah, that when we built that, that is a tool that you can go out and check your soil, and you don't disturb your soil. You take a backhoe and you go out and you keep digging. Pretty soon you got full tillage. So when we got that, before we took a poke hole digger, a job in the pit, poke hole digger, and I'd keep digging till we couldn't find no root. But when you do that, it really shows everything what's going on. It's a true picture, and I think it did. If we had to know what more going on, if we didn't have that, I don't think we'd have seen what's going on. But that right there, it really shows us. It just shows the picture.
So, Junior, does every farmer that's farming a Fragipan soil, they need one of those?
I don't know if every farmer, but every county or something. I mean, it did. I took it to a guy this spring. He just starting the cover crop, and we went and probed his farm, and then, maybe in 10 years from now, go back and see what we see in 10 years compared to. But I did a handy tool. That was.
It's really a handy tool. If you got a Fragipan soil, if you look at it on a map, you don't know if it's 2 feet deep or 3 feet deep or 18 inches deep. You don't know that. And NRCS had some excess probe trucks, and we got one. It's an old one, but it's a good one. And you really know what you got. You know where you stand and what you got.
Lloyd, with a ground penetrating radar, would that help you map the depth of the Fragipan?
I don't know, because I thought originally that a soil penetrometer would help too, but I've given up on those. And they would check differences in density, and it's not a real picture.
No, but it really helps build muscle mass.
I really appreciate that. And you can tell. Other things you'd like to say?
Well, I think probably the only other thing. I mean, before I started, I think 10 days or so dry weather was really working on me. Now I'm probably go 4 weeks so before I even start showing much sign of dry weather.
But Junior, would part of that also be it somewhat increase the organic matter, the upper layer, and so it's a combination of things going on.
Yeah. And I don't know, it did shame. He had our PA, I think down so far with 4, and then I think in so many years it was building up some, but I can't say on that because I don't have that.
Well, you get a lot of roots, a lot of organic matter. You will complex some of the aluminum and some of the things like that, so you would expect it to increase some. But it also not only raise the pH, but if you increase the organic matter, you complex the deleterious parts of low pH, which is aluminum toxicity. And so it would work work two ways.
I think if I remember right, this soil was about a 0.8 organic when we started, and it's up above 3 now.
Do you know if ryegrass is removed from the rotation, does the Fragipan come back, or is it a permanent, like it's permanently?
I don't know that anybody knows the answer to that because we just now begin to figure this thing out. But in my opinion, once you get your organic matter with your ryegrass roots and everything down there and you start breaking it down, now you probably won't continue to break it down, but what you have gained, I would say it'd be hard for it to lose it for quite a while.
What's your soil type and composition?
Well, soil type, I think a Bruford, right, a B13, B12,
And a hickory.
and a Hickory.
Is it silt loam? What is it? Loam?
Silt loam.
I think it's still loam.
Yeah, surface would be so.
Are most all the fragipans on that?
And the ones that I have been in southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and West Kentucky, all silt loam.
In your greenhouse experiments, when you grew the cereal or the annual rye, did you return that
I did.
material to the columns?
I did.
Okay.
I tried to keep it as much like you experienced in the field as
Yeah.
as you could.
Aren't there different varieties that can withstand pH?
There are different varieties of everything. Corn, the same way. I've been out
So can you-
low pH and have corn growing great and some of it dying. And
You know
but
which one's
annual
better?
ryegrass overall withstands a low pH because it was bred and raised in Oregon, and my gosh, they have low pH.
And it's something you really gotta make sure you get a good seed, because when we started out, we done it for the Oregon ryegrass, we might plant 20 different varieties, and out of the 20, there might be 4 or 5 wouldn't even grow in our area. But going through the winter, maybe 4 varieties would survive the winter, and then there are different root depth and different variety. That's part of the reason we built the probe, because we had these different varieties. We might pull 80 probe, and so that.
Okay, we're going to have to cut it off. Any other big question for Junior?